So here I am being very busy, and I get a text from my agent, which immediately followed a text from Actors Access. So if you're brand new to this, hi, I'm Dawnnie Mercado. I have an MFA in acting from NYU, and I went back into the business during COVID, kind of. I'd been teaching acting to kids and teens for over 30 years, and now I'm back in the business, but I have a day job. So the reality of building or rebuilding your acting career from anywhere is that you probably also have a job. So it's been like a blessing that I have a job from home and that I have a computer on one side by side for each thing. So there I am working at my very busy day job, and I get this text. And if you set up your Actors Access profile properly, new actors or returning actors, don't forget to set it up. That's the main place where our agents submit us for television shows. If you set it up properly, as soon as you get a CMail, which is a message saying that you've got an audition, you get a text. Well, the reason I love my agent is he doesn't just leave it at that. He also texts me directly, which I haven't done, but I should do, and I recommend you do. You know how you can set your phone up so that certain people have certain alert sounds? I should have an alert sound that sounds special for Actors Access and for my agent. Note to self, I have to do that. So I immediately get this text from him, and he says, got you a big audition, confirm immediately, call me. I'm like, all right. So, but I'm working. I work 9 hours on the computer. But be honest to your employers. It's going to save your butt. My employers and my manager know that I'm also an actor. I brought it up at my interview. I bring it up from time to time when I take vacation time. She knows that sometimes I might just turn off my computer for a while and do something else. I recently promised myself, I just turned 60. And if you didn't see that video, maybe I'll post some of it. So I read the text, I do the things, and I had made this video on my 60th birthday, which was just about a week ago. I promised myself to do this, and I challenge you to do this as well, because when you're building your career remotely or from home, it's very easy to get distracted. Shiny thing, shiny thing. Do the hardest thing first. The hardest thing for me is always memorizing my lines. And don't procrastinate for the first 24 hours especially, because this was, unbeknownst to me, due the very next day at 4 p.m. So if I hadn't read the fine print and known that it was due the very next day by 4 p.m., I could have really wrecked it, like ruined my chances by procrastinating. And you never know if it's going to be 1 page or like 3 pages. And so I pulled it up right away and I looked at it, and then I called him. This is one of my least favorite things for my agent or manager to say to me. He goes, Dawnnie, I got your really important audition. I really need you to book this one. That can really mess with your brain, right? But I know that he gets excited, and I love him. I love my agent, love him so much. So I said, way to go. Way to put that in my head there. No pressure. I just joked. He goes, no, really. But what I mean is I want you to coach with my person. I said, okay. So I tried. I got in touch with her. I texted. I emailed. I said, Albert wants me to see you. That's my agent's name. And, but I just looked at it, and it's due at 4 p.m. tomorrow. You're going to want somebody to read opposite you. So if you don't think that the casting directors can tell if you're using an AI voice to act opposite you, or if you don't think they can tell if it's you acting opposite yourself, they can. They can tell, and it's distracting. I know it's distracting because I'm in the Hollywood winner's circle. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to link it in the description for you. You're welcome. But I'm a lifetime member, and we're in this Zoom room, and casting directors and managers come and talk to us, and they have this monthly acting challenge. This seems like a tangent, but it's not. Go with me. And in this acting challenge, I was the reader for one of my friends, which is the great thing about having a network of people. Like at the drop of the hat, you can call them and say, hey, I need a reader. So I was a reader for one of my friends. So I showed up on challenge day where they played everybody's videos, and an agent, a manager, and a bunch of coaches were in the room to give feedback. And they all said to the ones who were acting opposite the AI readers, could you get a live person? Because that's very distracting. It takes me out of it. They're no longer getting soaked into the scene and believing you are who you say you are, because they're just noticing, oh, that sounds a little artificial. And do I have a touch of AI there that I'm hearing? Takes you out of the scene. So anything that takes you out of the scene and makes them not focus on you, we need to get rid of those things. That's what the new environment of self-taping from home and creating your acting career from anywhere calls for. Bring as much truth and reality to it as possible, because auditioning for a little phone right here, like I'm doing right now, is a totally different animal than it was when I was doing my New York years, and I lived in New York for 13 years. And on this channel, you're going to see some stories about that. I used to go in person, like when I auditioned for, Strong Medicine, opposite Rick Schroeder. I didn't meet him until the day that I was on the set. I booked that job, but I went in person to the casting director's office. There I was, like, because eventually she's in danger for her life. She's very pregnant, and they save her life. Rick Schroeder was a doctor, and he saved my life. So I went and I was off book, which means you're totally memorized. I was completely invested and in the moment and crying real tears again and again and again. And then at the callback, brought me in again, did it again and again. And the casting director actually came up to me. He's like, are you going to be okay? Can you do this again? I'm like, yeah. So you're going to have to get your technique together in a way that you can reset and start back at one and repeat it, just like in the theater. Well, the good and bad thing is that now that we're self-taping from home, you're going to do it again and again and again, but you're only going to send in your best take. Maybe callbacks sometimes are in person, and they're going to test you opposite various other actors. I remember at the callback, even back then, I was doing the callback opposite numerous people who were maybe going to play the role of my husband. So back to the present, right? My agent wanted me to coach with his person, and I couldn't reach her. And I thought, okay, I promised myself I am not going to procrastinate. So the old me that was, and it's really self-sabotage. Procrastinating is really self-sabotage. The former me that was like afraid for whatever reason, I don't know why, would have waited. Oh, well, I didn't reach her in time. I better rush tomorrow and do it. Nope. I was like, well, while I'm waiting for her to respond, I set up my area. I looked at the script. I read it over and over. You have to have a technique. How do you break down your scenes? But that is one of the skills you're going to have, because at the drop of a hat, I broke down my scene. It was very short. I memorized my lines, and then you see here, okay, so I used to have a blue wall up here. This is another thing my agent told me that he could have told me 2 years ago, right? He says, Dawnnie, you're killing me with the blue wall. Do you have another backdrop? I was like, I thought to myself, you couldn't have told me that 2 years ago? But I figured it out based on the feedback of my mentors again in the Hollywood Winner Circle. So instead I put all this stuff up. You're never going to want to do an audition with this stuff behind you, but this is for my YouTube stuff. So, and what I used to have is just that blue wall, but I'll pull it out and I'll add in so you can see. I have a stand in my closet. So I told him, I've got a gray backdrop. Don't worry, I'm going to use that. So you have to be smart enough to know the genre of the show you're auditioning for. And based on the type of show it was, I knew, okay, it's a little more like, I got to bring out my gray backdrop. It was a procedural. I can't tell you what it was for or any of that, but I can tell you that much. I promised myself in my 60th year, I am not going to procrastinate anymore. So I didn't. I got off book. I went on my little instant message chat because we have a private chat through the Hollywood Winner Circle. I'm like, hey, is anybody free like soon, maybe even in a half an hour to do a very short scene with me? So what you do is you set up, I have a box light behind, well, let me show you. Okay, I have a box light. So here's my light. that lights me for my auditions. That's always on. And there's my 2 computers. And there's my messy desk that I was working on. But all you're going to see if we're on YouTube is this or this. So this is one of the tricks of building your career from anywhere, is that set up a room where you're just ready to go at the drop of a hat. So all I had to do was go into my clothing closet there. I have a closet. Those are all the clothes I wear for auditions or for YouTube. And I also have a stand, which I'll pull out and put up. So then my friend calls in on the computer, which is on my desk, and I can hear her from from the computer's sound speaker. Yeah, speaker, that's what it's called. So I can hear her from that speaker. And then I'm set up facing the light, and I have my tripod with it facing me, and I've got the gray backdrop behind me, and I'm recording in horizontal mode on this very phone that I'm talking to you on right now in 4K, and then I record the scene. We did it 3 or 4 times, and I set it up and I edited it. And then it's kind of tricky in a space like this because, like, you see how small it is, and they always say do a slate shot. In this case, it was your name, your height, where you're from, and then they want you to show a full body shot. Well, there's no amount of backing up this camera that's going to get me a full body shot shooting horizontally. So what I do, and I'll show you the final product. I can't show you the audition, but I can show you the slate. I use CapCut. I impose a vertical of myself next to a horizontal of myself as a close-up. And I did it right there once that backdrop is up. And that's how I edit it together. If one of the things stopping you is your lack of the technical skills, because maybe you're a comeback actor like I am, maybe you're a second act actor or starting your acting career at 50 years old. Are you starting your acting career at 60 like me? So if the technical skills are in your way, I have a whole other channel that I'll link where I help my actor friends on YouTube with all the editing things, but it will help you with your editing for your auditions as well. Technology and all the things have changed, my friends, so I'm here to share all of that with you as well. Here we believe we are not becoming invisible, we are becoming undeniable. So grab a coffee, get cozy, and subscribe, because your best performance may still be ahead of you. And if that's true for me, which I know it is, it might be true for you. I'm Dawnnie Mercado, and I'll see you in the next vlog.